Have you ever met a man or a woman so ordinary yet so extraordinary that they beat you fair and square, that it just blew your mind? It is said that what amounts to an extraordinary person is not in doing things that are extraordinary, but doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. Such is the tale of Lord Sri Rama of the Ramayana. Hello friends, welcome to my channel All Things Spiritual. Sorry to have taken a break, but I am back again with a new video, and in today's video we will talk about sage Narada's warning to Ravana regarding his defeat to Sri Lord Rama. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel if you like the video. Ravana, who needs no introduction, was the chief antagonist of the Hindu epic Ramayana. Unlike Duryodhana, Ravana was a very learned being but had a very high ego. The reason for that ego was due to him being a scholar. Duryodhana, on the other hand, thought of bad deeds every moment of his living life. Ravana was really cruel, but had cruel intentions on the people who didn't reciprocate on his core belief systems. That is, of being a Shaiva or a devotee of Lord Shiva. And he committed atrocities on Vaishnavites, whose core belief systems consist of worshipping Vishnu as their main deity. So Ravana was letting alone Shaivites or the Shiva devotees. This is where he started faltering. Ravana was a Brahmin who had great knowledge of the Vedas. It is said that even Lord Rama incurred a sin of killing Ravana as he was a Brahmin. Now Narada explains to Ravana, "Do you know who is Shankar?" Ravana tells him, "He is my deity." "And who is Vishnu?" To which Ravana replies, "He is the deity that I don't prefer." Narada explains to Ravana that the origin of the source is neither Vaishnav nor is it Shaiva. The source is this one God that is formless. Narad continues, "The sins that you are committing now due to this false assumption, even though you are a good-natured being, you are now treading into unacceptable territories. The reason to this is that the atrocities that you are committing on the people are part of that one source pervading everything, and due to this basic misconception you are faltering." He then goes to say that, "Oh fool, why are you dragging yourself into darkness? You are an excellent devotee of God, but why doesn't that devotion lead you to clarity of thought?" Ravana used to do puja of Lord Shiva for hours at a stretch, and due to this he got a great pride within himself. He used to think that he is the greatest devotee of God. Ravana's mind was such that he was a scholar in terms of the Vedas, and at the other end he was killing people also. It is a very strange combination for a devotee of God. Why is such a combination strange? The main reason is that when a person becomes God conscious, then his mind becomes pure. It leads him to peace and quietude. Ravana faltered at this very point where he started to destroy people who didn't follow the same deity as him. Narada continues, "A very ordinary man, yet an extraordinary man, would put an end to your life, and the man would be Shankar himself." Ravana was shocked to hear this. Ravana then asks Narad, "How could it be Shankar? Because I am his committed devotee and he cannot do this to me." Narad then tells him that Shankar that you talk about, I don't know who that is. For I know one thing, that God, when he comes down in this man's form, you won't be able to recognize him. And although he looks like a man, he would most definitely not be a man. Ravana was like, "Is sage Narad joking?" The reason for that was that he was very overconfident over his own self, and Narad Muni then warns Ravana that there is still time, you can still come to the right side, and the Vaishnavites that you have detained and imprisoned in your own kingdom is a misjudgment on your part. And if you think about it, those devotees are all Shiva devotees only. Ravana disagreed with him and he said, "No, they are all devotees of Vishnu." Narad then tells Ravana, Vaishnav and Shaiva are just imaginary distinctions, and God is non-dual, and there can be no such duality of which you speak of. The source is only one, and I have never witnessed duality in a way that you describe. You are such a great Brahmin, and you don't know that God is formless and attributeless? Why are you subjecting the people to torture? Even they also are devotees of God. Ravana then replies, they don't belong to our traditions and culture, and this is not acceptable to me. I am a Shaiva, and all those who don't follow Shaivism are going to be destroyed. Aren't the Vaishnavas being brought to earth by God himself? Narada asks, to which Ravana replies, yes, that I agree, but I have been sent to earth to destroy the Vaishnavas. Narada then replies, as a friend of yours and the friend to the entire world, I have come to you bearing this warning that your downfall is near. Ravana used to consider Narada as his good friend, but the message that Narada brought forward to him this time he didn't like. Narada then asked Ravana, who did God send to destroy the Vaishnavites prior to the time that you were born? As you have taken charge of destroying all the Vaishnavites in your time on earth and want to convert all the Vaishnavas to Shaivas. Weren't the Vaishnavas present prior to the period that you were born, or did they just take birth after the time you were born? Why don't you take the responsibility for the period where the Vaishnavites existed prior to the period that you were born? Narad then continues, this is all occurring on the bounds of time, and it is ever existing, and so is the truth, and you are moving closer and closer to your destruction. God has a plan for the death of all beings, and as a being that is born, that has to die. So you need not take that into your hands. You are only ending yourself by such actions. Ravana says, I am the God's greatest devotee. God will only love me and won't do anything wrong to me. Then Narada asks him, then all the Vaishnavites that love God too, why should they be punished? Do you think that you are the only devotee of God? Do you have the ego that no one else can love God apart from you? Ravana was speechless. Due to his self-pride and ego, he didn't accept Narada's words. Narada continued, dear friend, you are an ordinary being. The virtues that you have gained by being God's devotee, that may be wiped out in a split of a moment, and you will be shocked to witness your downfall. This is quite near. You have a great sage for a father, sage Vishrava, great brother Vibhishan, and a great wife Mandodari. But instead, you turn to your evil mother and your brother Kumbhakarna. Your life is set up in a way you turn towards wrong things instead of the rights. Your nature becomes such due to your short temper, and you are being easily manipulated. Then he put his hand on Ravana's back and gently patted him on his back, as Ravana was not very happy with sage Narada's message. Feeling Narada's pat on his back, Ravana felt good, as Narada is a part of God, and his unhappiness was temporarily wiped out just by sage Narada's touch. The moral of the story is that if you are a true devotee of God, there won't be any real inclination in your mind to prove anything to anyone. Ravana wanted to prove that by praying to Shiva only, it was more important for anyone in their life. And if they prayed to Vishnu, that they had to be shown the correct path. It goes to show that Ravana was just a fanatic and was not a real devotee. For if he had been a true devotee of God, he would have known Ram's existence without even him having to show himself at his doorstep. And through his tapas, he would have known of the loving Lord Sri Rama. Such a tapasvi existed, and the irony was that it was Ravana's own brother Vibhishana. Vibhishana was already aware of Rama's existence and was loved by all, and was truly despised by his brother Ravana. How did you like the video? Please do let me know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week with a new video.